Social Simmers. I don't know, for those of you who are not on the Discord server, there was a new survey that was released by the Sims 4 team on Friday, August 8th. And so this new survey was listening more player feedback. Lately, they've been doing a ton of surveys, including a survey they did a couple weeks ago where they were asking how we felt about animations in the game and what animations were stale versus ones we liked. So I'm not sure what this survey is. I do think it's going to be a different topic. So it says, Soul, welcome Simmers, and thank you for taking part in our survey. We appreciate your honest and actionable feedback to help improve our game. So don't be afraid to share your thoughts and opinions. Responses you leave in this survey will be anonymized and will not be shared with any parties outside of EA. Okay, so this is what they're asking. So this first category is going over tools and items. Overall, how satisfied are you with your ability to visually reflect yourself or your community in The Sims? I'm mostly satisfied. I will say there's room for improvement, especially when it comes to hairstyles for men of all age groups. Black hairstyles without baby hairs, and more accurate representation in skin tones. I think that's kind of with textures, because I think we saw with the T-Pain live stream that they did for Enchanted by Nature, there isn't a lot of hairstyles that accurately reflect what black people use. So things like dreads, locks, twists, braids, afros, curly, just natural hair. We just don't have a great representation of it. So if they want to step it up, that would be great. And it says, overall, how satisfied are you with the way The Sims 4 gameplay reflects yourself or your community in The Sims 4? I would say not satisfied at all. I think there's a lot of gameplay lacking, especially between Sims of similar or different age groups. I know for me, I spend a lot of time playing games with my friends, like board games, video games, going to escape rooms, etc. It's still hard to make events work in The Sims 4 and have everyone participate at the same time without them wandering off, doing push-ups, etc. I also feel there's a lack of family friendly interactions between Sims, like family kiss, dancing together. We're just missing some. It really reminds me of the Sims 2 era, for those of you who've played back then, where there was just way more for family members to do with each other physically. So question number 5, how important is it to you to have the following in your gameplay of The Sims 4? So tools to make Sims have similar qualities, traits, or aspirations as people from my background, community, or culture. Tools to make Sims look like people from my background, community, or culture. Items to decorate buildings like people from my background, culture, or community. Tools to have Sims have similar hobbies. Now this is very important to me. As the same background, culture, and community. Tools to make Sims with similar culture backgrounds. And then items to dress. Okay, so these ones are hard. I think decorating for me is not important. I'm not a builder. And when they have done some of the more niche kits, buy kits, I don't buy them because it's like it's hard to decorate like a medieval castle with only the exterior stuff. They didn't give us any indoor furniture. So it's like, I don't want more kits about niche backgrounds unless you're going to give us enough to actually decorate interior and exterior. I do think it's important to have more qualities or more traits that reflect different backgrounds. Like some backgrounds, a good example of this is Mount Komorebi. So the world that came with Snow Escape, they had the proper traits, which seemed to align with the cultures that it was emulating, which was parts of Asia, including Japan. So it's like, I like that. There are cultural aspects to it that I think are missing. that would add a little bit more diversity. I do think it's very important that we can make Sims that look like us. You know, that's the Sims is supposed to be about making yourself. It's a life simulation. Buildings, like I said, not very important. Hobbies, I would say, are very important. We don't have hobbies in The Sims 4. I would love there to be a video game, not just a skill, but a hobby. Let Sims want to make a video game, play a video game, share their video game content, you know, have some cross-pack play there, and just other hobbies. People paint, ski, surf, hike, hunt. We're just missing hobbies, you know, and there's no, even with the expansion pack business and hobbies, there was no singular unification of all the hobbies. We have bits and pieces of hobbies from different expansion packs, but they're not cohesive and they're not called hobbies. They're a skill. I think something shouldn't be a skill. You know, they should be a hobby and you should push them together. So the way The Sims 2 did it was a little different. So like there was a creative skill. And the creative skill, if you did anything creatively, so that would include painting, playing the piano, making pottery, it would count towards your creative skill, and it would all increase your skill instead of having individual skills. Because some of the skills are hard to fill, whether they're a 5-level skill or a 10-level skill. It's hard to fill to the max because you have to only do that activity to build it up. Even the romance skill is only from interactions that are marked as romantic that gives you the romance skill. Whereas if romance was a hobby, anytime you go on a date, anytime you got a new significant other, spent time with your significant other, should build the romance skill. So it's kind of too many skills, too sectioned off. Clothes are kind of important, but and then being able to make other Sims that look like similar cultural backgrounds are important. Now, the 6th question is a playoff of the 5th question, which how satisfied am I able to do this currently in the game? So currently, I would say not satisfied about hobbies. Somewhat satisfied that I can make people look kind of how I want them to look. I think the clothes, we've done a great job. They've done a lot of diversity, including medical wearables, hearing aids, scars. Like they've made it better to be able to reflect and dress a certain way. I think we're getting there. I'm not really satisfied with the traits. I'm okay with how the buildings are. But again, I'm not a builder. Okay, so in this scenario, you have 6 tokens to use for more of the following items that can be included in the game as part of free content updates. What would you like to spend your tokens on? You must allot all 6 tokens. You can assign 0 to 6 to any given option. So I can assign it to plants or trees native to a specific region, regional furniture, cultural decorations, regional architecture pieces, regional clutter. For me, furniture is kind of a big deal. I'm not really worried about trees and plants. I don't notice a difference. I would say cultural decorations is kind of important. And then I would say clutter is kind of important. And so question 8 wants to kind of explain why you pick what you picked. So as someone who is not a builder, I wouldn't use plants, trees, or architecture pieces in my gameplay. But for indoor decorating, like if I download a shell like from the gallery or something, I would like to be able to designate certain cultural pieces. For example, I think it was For Rent gave us a item that looked like a shrine, or not a shrine, but it was something you could like put a sacrifice or put a piece of fruit on. But we couldn't decorate it or modify it in any way. It only came like a couple swatches. I would love more cultural references like that. Any other build by content that you'd like to see as a part of this free update? More representation from Africa and the Middle East. I think we rarely get any items from those areas of the world. We've gotten so much relating to Europe, because the last 2 expansion packs are very Eurocentric. So businesses and hobbies was focused in like the Scandinavian, Sweden part of Europe. And then the last expansion pack, Enchanted by Nature, is like the Ireland, Scotland area. So we've had a lot of Europe, and we've had Europe in other packs like Hamford on Bagley, Brychester. Like we've touched some of Europe. Let's touch some other areas that we never touch. We've never touched Africa or the Middle East, and I feel like we should definitely get there. Okay, so another scenario, this is the Create a Sim scenario. It says you have 11 tokens to use to vote for more of the following items to be included in the game as a part of free content updates. Which items would you like to spend your tokens on? You must allot all 11 tokens. This one's harder. So we have skin tones, undertones, and textures. To me, big deal. I feel like as an African American in real life, I want more skin tones, better hair textures. I mean, that's a big deal. More facial features. I don't know what they mean by that. We have a lot of presets for noses, lips, chins. I don't think we're lacking in that capacity. For gender neutral clothing, I mean, you could already have gender neutral clothing because any body type could be either masculine or feminine, or you can pick from both. My opinion though, is I should make sure for clipping purposes that it actually fits on both body types. Hair options, we have a good variety of them, so I'm not really upset about hair. Curly, wavy, or textured hair, yeah, it's kind of a big deal. I was talking about that earlier. Traditional and ceremonial clothing from global cultures. That's interesting. Medical or adaptive wearables. I don't know what else they could do. So I know they've done hearing aids. They have glasses. They've done the, for people with diabetes, that insulin thing that goes on your body. They have scars for people who have had like C-sections or other surgeries. I mean, I guess they could venture a little bit further into... Oh, I don't know what they could venture further into. I mean, I guess if they wanted to use crutches, canes, false teeth. I don't know how often I would use that. Masculine clothing, yes, please, because our male Sims are like struggling. Elderly clothing, I also feel is very important. So I may have to drop some points down so I can have some points left. Because the elderlies don't look elderly. They have clothes that look like the young adults and the adults and the teens wear, so there's nothing specific that's for elders. Now they did try to make a golden age kit, but then made it too old with like dentures and glasses you wear around your neck, and it's like I want something between these people are going to retirement and about to die and they're in their young part of elder years. Now with my last 2 points, I'm torn between children's clothes from around the world and then traditional and ceremonial clothes from around the world. We just want more variety. So as an African American player, to me, to have a wider variety of skin tone swatches, hairstyles with various textures like braids, locks, goddess braids, dreads, wavy hair, curly hair, etc. So I can have my sim be as diverse as I am. I also feel that masculine clothing is too it's too niche sometimes. I want everyday styles that are easily mix and match between various swatches and can fit in with any world / decor, because like when we got the Life and Death expansion pack, all the men's clothing was like specific to that era, and it was like, oh well, that's not really helpful. It only really works in that world, in that scenario. Okay, so how interested are you in seeing the following types of Create a Sim features added to The Sims 4 as a part of free updates? Feminine facial hair. I'm just gonna say no. Natural blonde hair colors. I'm gonna say no. We have a lot of blonde, and I feel like it hits the gambit. Natural eye colors. I'm a little interested. Natural black hair colors. Absolutely. Eyes with cataracts. I'm kind of interested. That's different. That would help with our elderly Sims for sure. Natural hair colors with grays. Nice. Help our elderlies. Styles for masculine. Yes, please, please, please. Textured body hair. That's different. Because, yeah, I do feel like the hair that chest hair, leg hair, arm hair is pretty straight. It would be nice if they updated that. Wavy hair, yes. Curly hair, yes. Natural brown hair colors, sure. Natural red, sure. Yes. Afro tech, yes. Please, please, please. I would love this. How interested are you in seeing the following types of features added to The Sims 4 as a part of a free update? Medical tattoos or bracelets. That would be interesting. Medical clutter. Yes. I'm not sure how to say that. Ostomy bags. Maybe. Guide rails. Maybe. Bandages. Sure. Especially for our kids who get hurt, like if they fall off their bike from growing together, that would be cute. Heart monitors. Sure. And then head protection for falls, maybe. Okay. Is there any other Create a Sim content that you would want to see as a part of free content updates? I would love a life alert style bracelet that calls maybe an ambulance. Well, we don't really have an ambulance. A firefighter or a family member if a Sim is about to die. Right, that would be cool. I can't think of other wearables. Maybe crutches, wheelchair, casts for various parts of the body if you have like a broken bone. I think that'd be nice. For other Create a Sim content, I'm really not sure. What they listed was a great amount, so I think I'm good on that. Okay, gameplay scenarios. You have 8 tokens to use to vote for more of the following items to be included in the game as a part of free content updates. What would you spend your tokens on? So more global or culturally specific recipes. We actually have a ton of recipes. I will say that I give The Sims 4 credit. Every pack has had a ton of recipes. We got a lot of original ones with Himford on Bagley, with Ferrent. And there was another pack that had like a ton of recipes. Regional cooking appliances. To be honest, I'm sick of cooking appliances. I can't fit them all in my Sims kitchen. They don't have kitchens big enough for all of these kitchen appliances. By the time you have a toaster, a coffee maker, a teapot, a kettle, hot cocoa tray. I mean, there's not enough space for appliances at this point, unless they're going to be huge appliances that like slot in like the oven or the stove does. I don't know that I need any more appliances. Cultural festivals and holidays. Now I have a personal gripe with festivals. We have a festival with every expansion packs, and I never send my Sims to those festivals. I go once for the novelty of it, and then I never go. Now holidays, maybe they haven't updated holidays since Seasons came out years ago. That could be interesting. Careers tied to cultural or social context. I don't know what that would look like. What would be a career tied to a cultural or social context? I would need a little bit more information to understand what that is. Hobbies around dance, music, or sports from different cultures. Yes, yes, yes. Diversity, representation of neurodiversity. Now that I'm not sure how they would show it in a sensitive way, because I'm assuming neurodiversity is not only including people who have mental disabilities, but also people who are mentally ill. So not disabled to the point where they need maybe full-time care, like if they're on the spectrum, but people who are depressed, anxious. I don't know how they can represent that in a safe way though, without offending someone. They would have to work really closely with an ADA compliance company or something to make sure it's very accurate. Regional or cultural traits or aspirations. Yes, I agree. Rituals and customs. I would like that to be the part of the holidays. You know, we have some reference to like lighting candles if you celebrate Kwanzaa, but there are other holiday customs that people don't really get into. And I would love to see an option where you don't want to celebrate a holiday and that's your holiday that you just don't want to celebrate anything. You know, you're almost like a Jehovah's Witness. You don't do birthdays. You don't do holiday. Like that's not really an option in The Sims 4. So that would be an interesting tie. Not to celebrate holidays or birthdays at all without a penalty for ignoring or early or exiting early. I think that's if they're gonna touch on it, I don't know how to spell Jehovah. I'm so sorry. Hopefully spell check gets me. Nope, it didn't. I don't know what it did. I don't want any more recipes. I want to see what the careers are. A bit more information on what careers, how neurodiversity would be shown. But I think it's cool to consider adding those to The Sims 4. As for hobbies, absolutely a must. There's a huge market, like including cricket, which is a sport that they play in like Britain and India that we don't have here in the United States, but that would be an interesting like sport that they could include as a hobby. Different kinds of dances like salsa, merengue. I can't spell merengue. They're gonna grab me for that. I hope it gets it. Nope. Of course not. Diversity, salsa, merengue, bachata. Like there's tons of dance. I don't know. I think there's some opportunity, and for music, we can have like EDM. There's options. I think they can get creative if they want to. Okay, so how interested are you in seeing the free items added to The Sims 4 that are associated with the following? So elements of Caribbean culture. Yes, because we never get anything with Caribbean culture. Spring festival, so Chinese New Year's. That'd be interesting. Wiccan cultural events, so solstice, equinox. Probably not. Wiccan home decor, so wreaths, candles, simmer pots. That sounds interesting, especially for fall. I think that would be great if you have seasons and you play fall. You could decorate for Harvest Fest. Wiccan clothing and accessories. We have a lot of moon necklaces. We got a lot with werewolves. I don't know that I need, and crystal creations. International Women's Day. I don't know. Mother's Day, yes. I think that would be interesting because we can have baby showers in The Sims 4 if you have growing together. But we don't celebrate them being a mom after that. Like, there's no recognition of that at all. Kwanzaa, I think you can do Kwanzaa in The Sims 4, or at least you can light the candles. I don't know if you can fully do it. Yule, sure. Earth Day, I think Earth Day is also in The Sims 4, unless I'm wrong. Holi, yeah, I think it's Holi, the Festival of Colors. That'd be really interesting. And then Nowruz, sure. Okay, is there any specific cultural observations or events that you'd like to see represented in The Sims 4? Well, yeah, Mother's Day was interesting. Father's, oh no, can I go back? I wasn't done typing. Sorry. Father's Day, Grandparents' Day. Like, we don't have any like days for family. I think that's something missing in The Sims 4 is there's nothing that brings your family together as a family. Like, your Sims will have aspirations to have kids or raise up a successful lineage, but then nothing happens. Like, they don't celebrate that. It's like, okay, that's weird. Memorial Day would be nice, especially if your Sims pass away and you play legacy style. You can like mourn all your passed away folks would be nice. Well, I guess Memorial Day is not really a cultural observation. I didn't even think about Dia de los Muertos. That's a good one. Diwali is another. I don't know how to spell that. Diwali. I'm probably spelling it wrong, but I think they should try. Okay, how do you often hear about updates to The Sims 4? Usually, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm usually watching content creators and social media. Once in a blue moon, I will pop into Discord and I'll see it on the Discord server. I have the server muted because it's very active and a lot going on all the time. But I don't actually watch anything official from The Sims 4 to get my news. Which best describes your awareness to the following Sims 4 free updates? I was aware. This one I don't know that Eastern Europe inspired content. I don't know that I heard about that. The nails, I think I was aware. The bathing suits I was definitely aware. The new locks, yes, I was aware. The vertical, yes. And the wavy styles, I think I learned after it launched. I don't remember knowing that at the time. When free content is added to the game, which way best describes how you engage with it? I usually download it right away because it's free. So why not? A Sims Delivery Express, or an SDX drop, is a free content addition to your game without the need of a patch or an update. SDX content is delivered directly to your game, so there's no separate redemption process. Once you've launched the game and are in live mode, you can find the new items and build, buy, create a sim, or your Sims inventory. Have you previously heard of SDX? Yep. How do you usually hear about it? Social media. I think back then they did have some sort of blog post, because they haven't done SDXs in a while. How interested are you in participating in community votes to help decide future content? Yes. I love when they did the laundry day stuff pack where they let the community vote on that. That was like a long time ago. That was early Sims 4 days, but I think that was cool. And now I think they also did that for Nifty Knitting, where we got to vote on like what was one of the 5 themes of the stuff pack or something. And it's like, are you a member of the Discord? I am a member of the Discord, and I would participate if they had votes in there, because this is how I saw this survey was in the Discord. So it will make me pop in more often. Now, this is just some about you type of questions. They want to know my background. Now, this one's interesting. How do you describe your current sexual orientation? I'm just straight, but thanks for asking. Okay, so this is very easy. I did 100%. I think this is cool. I'm glad that they're trying to get more feedback. I hope they make changes about the animation. I hope we see a lot more free updates. I hope they give us new medical devices, cultural relevance, gameplay. Like, do the things that you're asking. I think the hard part for me is they ask a lot of questions, but then they do not always follow through on that. So it's like, if you are going to ask me, please do something about it in the next year. If not, don't ask me. Because they also had a ton of surveys, if you guys remember, from last year about various expansion pack ideas. A lot of them were around cars, but there was also a couple about water or being underwater. Still haven't seen those yet. Would love to see the next roadmap, which should be in the next 3 to 4 weeks. But let me know in the comments below, what did you think of this